My name is Cynthia Novak. I'm an astrologer, experienced in both Western astrology and Vedic astrology. I would like to present to you June's Planets in You. Why do I call it that? Regardless of which side of astrology you use, Eastern or Western, the movements of the planets have a profound, often powerful, archetypal resonance within us. Much like the clock here, it's the time of the seasons and it's the time of the movement of the planets for us. The big news in June is going to be Jupiter, but we can't get there yet. We have to start with right where we are now at the beginning of the month. In fact, in June, Mars, remember those planets in April and May? Mars is finally moving forward. But between now and the end of June, he's going to make his final aspects to powerful Pluto, bringing up old stuff from the past, and Uranus, the unexpected change that comes through us as we deal with it. Whether it be your physical health, toxins, maybe a virus that you're trying to burn out, Mars can be your friend. If you're looking at big change and you're fighting it, Mars can be that restless irritation and anger that blows up at anyone at the least moment. Oh, at any moment, sorry. Or Mars can simply be the movement of traffic that goes by in your life and the notion that we truly are not all by ourselves. Okay, here we go. As Mercury comes to stop in the heavens, people that know very little about astrology are always watching for retrograde Mercury. In this case, Mercury appears to stop in the heavens and go backwards on June 7th. What's significant here is that this Mercury, much like the wind that is coming through us, is in a nakshatra or lunar mansion called Ardra. That is considered to be Vata, or the wind lunar mansion. Ardra has the deity Rudra the Howler, or the storm god. We're not seeing a storm here, but we appreciate the value of the wind as it moves through. When Mercury appears to stop, that day it appears to stop is a time to slow down, go deep, quiet everything inside of you, and make sure everything is backed up. It's not that the planet Mercury causes your car or your computer to fail. It's that this time period of 3 weeks is actually a time period where we naturally want to go inward. And yet our scheduled lives have us committed through so many moments of so many hours of every day. Slow that down if you can. Put quiet time in your schedule and make sure that you know which exit to get off of and where the meeting is. Because the inner part of you would really rather be alone, and it may in fact send you out on the wrong date or the wrong time. Now, this particular Mercury is stressed by that Mars, and Mars is so ready to go forward. Doggone it, he's been stuck going backwards for a long time, and Mercury is the little petty things that are getting in the way of getting it done. So tolerance is your friend. Anger with these types of aspects, and then this will go back and forth throughout this year. Tolerance during these types of aspects is truly a gift, because the person who blows up at you is really the person that is having a tough day. Now, part of the process here in the month of June is looking at the planet Venus. Oh, we've got Mars, we've got Venus, we've got chemistry. This is the month of weddings and romance, and the dating sites are filled with people giving a list of what they want. I want this, this, and this, and this in my next relationship, and by golly, if I don't get it, I'm going to be as pissed off as I can be, because I've been a good person and I deserve it, right? Well, that's the dark side of Venus and Mars. What you want to look for as Venus slowly moves forward into her favorite place in the heavens, is you want to look for the heart, you want to look for the soul, you want to look for the spirit part in your relationships. Who would you be if you were in a relationship? What partner will you be? What partner will you bring to the table, in a sense? And so as you slow down and question whether or not you really want to be in a relationship with someone, the challenge here is to ask yourself who you bring to the relationship. Are you in your spiritual part? Are you in your soul? And are you looking for the outside, or are you looking for the inside? And most people are going to say, by golly, I want both and I deserve it. I don't mean to be lecturing you, because we're all going to feel this. But if you get stuck in that, your relationships are going to really struggle. Finally, you can move through the month and love can go into a very deeper level. We hear the birds here. That beautiful sound, I believe, is one of the blue jays hopping in to enjoy the food that are put out. Blue jays are beautiful. People often don't like them because they have a cruel side to them. But that beautiful outside appearance and the beautiful song are enchanting. And sometimes we overlook their cruelty because they're part of nature. This month, it's important not to overlook that cruelty in ourselves. Okay. When we move to June 21st, so we've now gone through 3 weeks. This is June 21st, and Venus has moved into one of her favorite places in the heavens. In fact, it is the Pleiades. And the group of sisters that the Pleiades are named for in Vedic astrology is the Kritikas. And they truly come together and sacrifice to give birth to a being who will save the world from evil. In each of us, it's important to ask, what are we willing to give for something greater or for a greater good? Right now, we're on the summer solstice of this year, June 21st. The planet Jupiter, the benevolent optimist in the heavens, Jupiter has moved into his constellation that they call the constellation of exaltation. What does that mean? That means we are returning to an optimistic, hopeful time. Jupiter is one of the most regular of all planets in the heavens. He moves into the constellation Cancer on June 19th, Juneteenth Day, freeing of the slaves. I love that synchronicity. In some respect, we're all being freed from something. And as we come to June 21st, summer solstice, we have this beautiful Jupiter and this self-sacrificing Venus. So if you've planned your wedding and you're irritated with your spouse, or perhaps if you're trying to decide what on earth you have to give, this is a wonderful month to go deep within you before you blame them. And yes, Mars moving forward has us all wanting to blame them, roll them over, and get on with it. If someone is doing that to you, you may need to pause before you go forward. But the most wonderful thing you can do is to be tolerant and know that it's in that person, not in you. Finally, we come to the end of June. Now, Mars, if you've watched the other videos in April and May, and if you haven't, go back and see. But Mars has been making these intense, powerful aspects to Pluto, deep catharsis, come out from the underworld, get the toxins out of your body, get an answer to maybe a health problem that you didn't even know a name for. Get the answers to what you're good at and what you can bring forward to all people. Mars makes his final aspects as we leave June and cross the 4th of July. Independence Day, in many respects, is wonderful. As an astrologer, I have to say the news of terrorists being released and terror, possible deserters and things like that is daunting, but it is also right on time with the planets. It's important, particularly as we go from now through Independence Day weekend, to be aware of perhaps the terrorist in you and what's going on in your environment around you, because these are explosive aspects. I like to think of them as implosive to personal catharsis and change, but I would be foolish if I didn't say they can also be explosive in the hands of someone who's desiring to destroy. Okay, now for each of the 12 signs, very quick, and I'm going to ask each of you to let me know if you like this or not, because it'll determine whether or not we continue to do the 12 signs. Aries, call it destiny or opportunity. Doors are opening for you and all around you. This is your time, this is your month, go for it. Western sign, Taurus, time for love and a little indulgence. You can have it your way as long as you're willing to pay the tab. Freedom comes with a creative way to indulge within your budget. Yes, there's a caveat to all of these. Gemini, happy birthday to most of you. Learn something that merges creative flow with a hands-on project. If you can build it, it really comes from the depth of you and you can anchor it into reality. Cancer, talk about the good stuff in your personal history so you remember that opportunity may appear at any moment. Yes, Cancers have been having kind of a hard time, Western Cancers. Leo, humility is not your strong suit, but it has helped you make some realistic decisions in the past few years. This month, work on your inner world and your dreams really can come true. Virgo, speaking about dreaming, it would be great if you could take a little time and go on an inner world retreat, even if that is just allowing yourself to make a mistake and to accept that the rest of us are not as perfect as we would like to be either. Can you count at least one day where you are kind and generous to your inner world? If you can, that's the first day of rebirth. Libra, Mars is upon you and you are moving forward. Embrace the change. It truly is a gift to you and the rest of the world. Scorpio, it's been a long year. What and who do you love? That's the question for you this month. Sagittarius, you've been on a long cycle of personal change, and you may feel like you've been pedaling up a long hill, but this month is very reflective. What enlivens you and what drains you? Capricorn, plenty of action in personal and professional relationships. Ask your opponent before you assume that they are against you. Aquarius, time to assess your health and see if the plan or action is truly working. You may not even know what the actual condition is. This is a time where things are surprising and the results can be easier than you ever thought. Pisces, ready for a vacation, if only in your mind. You're not alone, but you're the one who is clear about the flow you want to make in this day, in this month, and for your future. Follow it. My name is Cynthia Novak. I'd love to see you and do a personal session for you. I have a website, of course, but I like to say, why would you come for an astrology reading? Because I help you remember your talents and gifts that you've taken for granted. I help you remember why you're here and plan where you're going. Thank you.